Hey man, what it is, what it ain't. We here for another episode of the From the Jump podcast. I'm your host DJ here with a few of my co-hosts, the bro hosts, but you know how that go though. Again, man, depending on how the cameras are set up, we got my boy Big Meech in the building.
Back on the couch.
Yes sir, back on the couch like he never left, like me. And then we also got my main man Josh in the building, aka Black
Yeah.
Yeshua.
Yo,
Like
what's good, y'all?
Jesus.
Yes sir, yes
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I've been off for a little bit. We had my boy Meech was down, sick a little bit, but we back. He's feeling a little better. Decided to come back,
So,
bless us with his presence here for another episode. But man, as y'all know how this goes, we start off the episodes with us just kind of recapping what's been going on with our teams, how we think things have been going. So with that being said, I want to start with Josh first. Let me know because I know you got some things to say pertaining
Oh, yeah.
around your boy Joel. So go ahead, talk to me.
Well, I mean, since it's been a while, that game was that 70-point game was a week ago. Yeah, a week
Yeah.
ago. I watched that game, bro. It was insane, bro. I did not expect him to score 70 points. I was watching on my phone because I was like trying to get through all the apps and shit, but I was just geeking, yelling in the crib. My girl was scared every time he fucking shot a shot and we like getting up to 50 and then 60. I was just screaming, running around the house and shit. But that was a fun game to watch. Um, and then Maxi hitting his career high of 51 a couple games later, which was really great to watch and see. So I mean, I'm glad they can individually get these great high scoring games, but honestly the schedule's not looking good. These past like 7 games, we won one out of the seven. So I mean, without Embiid, it's really hit or miss if we're going to win. It's more likely we're not going to win, even though Maxi like can put up, the 51 or the 20 to 30 points. But it's not enough. Like looking at the last game against Brooklyn, I was really shocked. I told my boy DJ here, man, he was like, Maxi gonna get 30? I was like, yeah, he should get 30. He's going to be like the main scorer. But it was very disappointing to see that they could not rise up against Brooklyn. Maxi got 23 points, and the high rebounds was 6, like on the squad with Mo Bamba, kind of trying to take over with like rotating in with Paul Reed. But that was such a weird game. I ain't like it, but I did like that Ben Simmons got booed by the crowd, as you expect from Philly fans. We hate that nigga. But we gotta have a plan B when plan A and B is not in the game. Because injuries happen. He Kaminga fell on his leg or whatever. Like we don't know. Some meniscus strain and stuff like that. So that's really serious. You gotta be careful about that. So he's probably, we'll talk about the 65 games later. So I'll loop back into that conversation. But we gotta fix it when Embiid's out. We gotta come up with a better game plan.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Um, I don't even know. You would think Tobias would be able to step up since you're paying him a
I
hundred plus
know,
million. It's
right,
guys like this that it just doesn't make sense why you're paying guys 100 million to be
right,
average or subpar at times. But with
exactly.
that being said, we'll continue to move forward. Big Meats, talk to me about your LA Lakers.
man, Sixers aren't going to win. Sorry, Josh. Whether
Ah.
whether Embiid was whether he was playing or not, they weren't going to beat. You know, I don't even think they could beat Boston. To be real,
I
um,
mean,
and
hope is a dream.
didn't they have an easy schedule at the first half of the season? The Sixers.
Um,
Or is it the Sixers, or is it another team that I'm thinking of who had the
we
easy
kind of had an
schedule?
easy schedule. Like our first game was against Milwaukee, and then we went against Boston in like the eighth game, and then Detroit, Indiana, and then Boston again. It was, yeah, we had somewhat of an easy schedule at the beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
yeah. Meniscus is. I mean, it's. I've seen players come back. It just depends on the, how
Right.
much he can do. One of my team, one year, Ron Artest came back. He tore his meniscus in game one, came back game three. So
That's crazy.
obviously that's a rush, and
That's a
he does
big
definitely
rush.
does. He's not as big as Joel Embiid, but I mean, definitely think he'll come back. They should just shut him down till playoffs, and if he's ready to go, play him. If not, scrap the season. But yeah, Lakers. I mean, the same thing, different day. We beat a good team, lose to a bad team. That's it. I do like that we stumped on New York's parade. You know,
Mm,
I was watching that broadcast, the Knicks and Lakers, and they try to make the Knicks so relevant and like people care about the Knicks. They want
mm-hmm.
us to care about this is the New York basketball, and
Right.
Stephen A. is getting all excited about the Knicks being okay.
Right.
Um, and Brunson having, he made the All Star team.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats to
And all those
him.
celebrities on the court side and shit.
Yeah,
That's
all
all
the
I've been
celebrities.
seeing.
It's like I'm like, damn, it must really suck to be a Knick fan because like this is what's like got the town buzzing. This Knicks team, like,
Mm-hmm.
gee, like I don't think they could win a championship. I don't even think they could get to the conference finals. But
No.
this is the most excitement that they've had in years. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, like I said, we're still up and down. We beat Boston with no LeBron and AD. Beat the Knicks, who was on a 9-game winning streak. And our next game is, or before that, we lost to Atlanta, lost to Chicago. So it doesn't. I don't know. Till Coach Ham Pocket or Hot Pocket Ham gets out of there. Um, yeah, we're not going to escape
Mm-hmm.
our what's going on right now. So that's it. But we got a better chance than the Pels or the Sixers. But go ahead, DJ.
Damn.
Man,
I like how you
the
just slid
lies.
that in there,
Yeah, he just
bro.
had to. He had to slide some Laker lies in there. But
Right.
I mean, honestly, Pelicans were almost somewhat like the Lakers at this time, except for we have a deeper team than the Lakers. We're very up and down. Coaching is inconsistent. Our coach runs the same plays in and out, no matter what team we're playing. It's try to get Brandon Ingram to one of the elbows for a mid-range jumper. If not, give it to Zion and let him drive and kick the ball, or hopefully he gets a foul call. Like, he doesn't understand. You have Trey Murphy, you have Jordan Hawkins sitting on the bench. I think Jordan Hawkins didn't play for like, it felt like 12 games in a row at one point, and the man could score 30. Right now we're missing Herb Jones, and as much as I love Herb Jones, I like it because Trey Murphy's getting a start, so it adds another 3-point component to the team, so it opens the floor for Zion and Brandon Ingram. I don't think uh, Willie Green really understands the importance of having 3-point shooters on the floor, especially when you have somebody that is so paint dominant like Zion or LeBron. That is why LeBron is highly successful with guys that can shoot the three, even if they're average 3-point shooters. I.e. the Mike Millers, the Mario Chalmers, the Norris Coles, those guys. The threat of being able to shoot a 3-pointer helps that team helps LeBron out tremendously. And with Zion, you have Valanciunas, who's not a major 3-point shooter, but he can knock it down, but that's not his bread and butter. You got Herb Jones, who is not a 3-point shooter, but he's shooting high or mid 30s right now, so not terrible, but and then Brandon Ingram is a damn near like DeMar DeRozan, where he doesn't really shoot a 3-pointer unless they just leave him wide open. So I like Trey Murphy being out there on the court. I think some things need to change. I do love Jose Alvarado because we were losing to the Spurs about two nights ago, and he came in the game and really changed it for us. The tempo, the momentum, everything was just very slow, lackadaisical. Jose comes in there, gives us energy, hits a three right off the back. Gets a steal, starts passing the ball around, and that's what we need. I just wish we could have it from a guy that was over 6 foot. I wish we could have that from Trey Murphy or have that
Yeah.
from but it's just like none of those guys are that. It's kind of like the Pat Beverly. All those short guys in the league, you got to bring that energy, and that's the only way you can really bring energy is being a pest, and that gets everybody going for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe if you're over 6'5", you just feel like you ain't got to do all of that bullshit, but it is what it is. So hopefully we can continue, you know what I'm saying, and keep going. It's just I wish the coaching was a little bit better. I'm still hoping and praying we get Monty Williams somehow. Something. I don't
I
even
got a
care at
question.
this point. Go ahead.
What's y'all's identity? Like, what's I know
As a
that the
team?
like like with the Sixers, get the ball to Joel Embiid. He brings a double team, and everybody else do their thing. The Lakers is defense, and then they get out and run, uh, or pick and roll with Bron. What's the Pels' identity? Are y'all defense? Are y'all up and down? Are y'all?
I think they're confused right now, and I think that's what part of Willie Green's thing. He tries to go based on the identity is pretty much based on the players we have out there at the moment. So we have Zion, and when we have Zion out there, we try to play more transition ball, get to the paint, dunk, look for easy shots. But then whenever you take him out and you have CJ, who's a pace player, you have Brandon Ingram, who's a mid-range maestro, then they try to go into half-court sets. So it's really hard whenever they get in the late game situations, because it's like, okay, push, 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 push. And then, but Brandon Ingram or whoever isn't really, Valanciunas is only but so fast. Brandon Ingram is not going to go out there and haul ass. So it's definitely difficult at that time. So for me, it's more dependent upon the players out there on the court at the time. That's whatever our identity is, which helps us and hurts us.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Speaking of coaching, can we touch on real quick?
Go ahead. Come on.
Doc Rivers, and now that he's coaching the Milwaukee Bucks.
Meech, go ahead. I know.
Doc, I've been saying Doc is the most overrated coach. Now, I would like him over Hot Pocket Ham, but overrated. Doc Rivers been living off that '08 championship for 16 years now. And I'm tired of it. He has the record for most blown 3-1 leads. He has 3 of them in his own coaching career. 3 blown 3-1 leads. He does not make adjustments. It's an old clip that you can go look back at the Lakers playing the Celtics in 2010, and Phil Jackson telling the Lakers in the huddle, "This team will beat themselves." Basically saying, he was saying that they don't adjust. They're going to keep doing the same thing no matter what. And Doc Rivers he's one of those stubborn coaches that he's going to run his shit no matter what. And before he know it, it's too late and the series is over. And then he's going back. And then what's weird is I heard him say a quote that he wouldn't wish this on anyone, this job.
That's like, so weird. Why would you say that?
Why the fuck would you take the job?
Right. You acting like the Bucks are trash.
You know what he's doing? He's like basically helping himself out for this, to cop out.
Lose. Yeah.
To say, look, I tried to tell y'all this was a tall task to take.
Right. And then why is he all-star coach for the East? Like, are you kidding me?
The NBA is weird as fuck. They just
following the hype. Like they not gonna get Eric. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I get the fucking Joe Mazzulla or the Boston Celtics. They're the number 1 team in the
right.
Like, what the fuck?
Part of me thinks Joe Mazzulla turned it down, and so they went for the second best record in the league, and
get Tom Thibodeau or something. I don't know. He'll take the shit. Like, just doesn't make sense for Doc Rivers to. He got the job before they had even won a game. They were 0-2, in his tenure as a head coach. Like, he hadn't even won a game yet. He 2 games in, and he's an all-star coach. It's like, what the fuck?
And he lose to Portland. That's crazy.
Right, I was just about to say, and lose to Portland by
and they almost lost last night. Giannis had to have 48 and 10. They were getting dubbed by Dallas with no Kyrie. And Giannis had to go nuts for them to win. So
Brook
they
Lopez
almost
was out.
Yeah, they almost was 0-3. They might end up firing Doc a few games in.
Or playoffs, yeah.
They have 3 coaches under payroll right now.
They do, yeah. That's wild.
All 3 coaches, including Doc, and the last 2 coaches they have. Budenholzer, Griffin, and Doc. He fired the niggas before their contract is up.
But wasting all that cash.
So another one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, obviously, Josh talked about the 70-point game of Joel Embiid, and I forgot who had 70 or close to. I think it was Luka.
Luka 73. 73 or 74?
He had 73. Yeah, I think he had 73.
Okay.
I was watching that one.
What do you guys like this brand of basketball? Obviously, we come from the earlier eras, the late Michael Jordan eras and the early Kobe years, the beginning of the Kobe journey. So, we're used to more aggressive defense. I know people say, those people couldn't guard the people of today, but it's you were able to guard the skill set that was presented in front of you. So you either
Mm-hmm.
adjusted or you didn't. So I
Right.
don't necessarily like that whole comparison because it's just like, well, if they hooped like that back then you'd have to play defense a certain way to combat
Mm-hmm.
that. But
Right.
I'll start with you, Josh, since you have a person on your team that has scored 70 this season.
Right.
So, what do you think? Is it healthy for the game? Is it not healthy for the game? Talk to me.
I mean, it gets people excited, like to watch their team play when they see some like Joel or Devin Booker or Luca get these points. It's like, oh shit, my team is entertaining to watch. I'm going to go out and watch this team and watch the team. So it makes it lucrative for the NBA. But then on the other side of it, people were saying like, oh, San Antonio gave uh, Joel the 70 points. Like there's like no defense and whatnot. And like at the same time, it's like I watched that full game. I didn't see them just lackadaisical running up and down the court. Like they just got demolished. They just got owned that night, right? And it was the first time seeing Wemby and Joel together. So that was a good thing. That was a cool thing to watch. Um, but I don't think it's bad. I just think it's bad if you get that many points and your team loses. Because then that's where it looks really bad. It's like, well, y'all just did all that and got us hyped for nothing. Like with Devin Booker got 60 and he lost.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Carl Anthony Towns got 60 something and he lost. Like that's just a bad look for the team and for the players. But it doesn't happen like that often though. Like yeah, it happened like 3 times in this new year, and then 4 times since like last year, or 5 times since last year. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's that bad for the league in general. It makes it more entertaining.
All right, Beach, talk to me. What's your thoughts?
Um, I think I've been watching NBA since 2000, 2001. It's about 25 years now. Um, and I think it's bad for the league.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the sense of the product is bad, but I think when it's normalizing just scoring. And if all of y'all's teams, I'm sure you can go and every game, your best player is getting hacked or tore up, or and then on the other end, they're giving these flimsy calls to a player who like Tyrese Maxey. I don't like Tyrese Maxey because he's a
Mm-hmm.
foul merchant. Taking just like Joel Embiid, and they're playing within the rules. So when a player like gets upset at the ref for not calling like a touch on the shoulder, and they're like going off on the ref, they're going off because it's like they're like by y'all's rules that's a foul. So why are you not
Right.
calling it? So unfortunately, the high scoring is not going to stop. The NBA wants the casual fan to tune in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new TV deal about to come, and the NBA wants to be able to have as much draw power for people to to help with their deal, so they can say we have players scoring 60 and 70 points. But the casual fan doesn't watch 4 or 5 NBA games a week. They might catch something on Friday, see who's
Mm-hmm.
playing, or that Lakers Knicks game last
Mm-hmm.
night. That was a big night. But it's normalizing. It's not making it as special anymore. And I watched the Luca game. I watched the Embiid game. And it just reminded me of how good Kobe is because he scored 81. And these guys played damn near perfect games. I mean, they're hitting
Mm-hmm.
all kind of shit, and
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 less time at the free throw line.
exactly. Unless
Yeah.
and he still scored 81. I still think that's incredible. I was definitely crossing my fingers and hating from the distance, hoping that nobody got to 81. Um, But yeah, I just think it's just normalize it. Pretty soon we're gonna be like, oh, Joel Embiid has 75 today. Oh, Steph Curry has 65. All right, what's next? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not as special anymore. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when back in the day when you would see Kobe score have a month where he had like 5 40-point games, 6 50-point games, and he had the 81-point game. Like that's when it's like, oh shit, this is special. Or the years that James Harden was averaging like like the 30 plus, that type of shit. He was having those hot games.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think it should happen as frequent. I think we should emphasize more defense. Defend. It's almost at a point where there's no point of even playing defense anymore.
Mm.
You can't play defense. You can't
Yeah,
touch.
down the league now.
Yeah, like it's no point. The
That's a
NBA
good point.
wants scoring, and they emphasized it over the last 5 6 years, and now it's like just outrageous now, in my opinion. DJ,
Oh yeah. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know. I was just raised to play the game of basketball differently, so I naturally don't like the changes in it. I was never a scorer. I was a person. Meets you've been around me since I was young, shit, 18, 16, somewhere around there. So that's all I do is play defense. That's what I pride myself on. When I got picked up to play in games, it wasn't because I was going to score 8 of the 12 points you needed to go to the next game. It was because I'm going to guard your best player so you don't have to, so you can save all your energy for offense, and I'm going to give Meech or Abe the ball. Y'all go get this bucket. That's how I play. So I valued the Ron Artest. I valued the Tony Allens of the world. I valued, Kobe being a two-way defender and offensive player. That's how I grew up. So now you're seeing these guys drop, 70 damn near in the same week. And it's just like the amount of effort. And don't get me wrong, right? There's nobody on that Spurs team that can guard Joel Embiid. Nobody. Right. Like all he has to do is drop his shoulder. Wemby's going to go flying into the third section and he's going to dunk on him. So that one I feel is earned. But like when you got people that like the Lucas or the Devin Bookers, like you just know how to draw fouls, and it's easy to do it, like it was kind of like the swipe through when that first started becoming popular. It was just like, you're in foul trouble, you got your hand in front of me, I'm just going to swipe up and shoot the ball. At that time, they were still going to give you 2 free throws, and then it changed to where you're not going to get free throws unless you're already in the bonus, so it's just like,
which I think they need to negate that rule too, because you're still like, they're kind of, oh, it's on the floor, swipe through. Well, the player only did it because they're in a bonus. Like they're just manipulating the rule. Like
exactly,
you're giving them the foul. But go ahead.
Exactly. No, and it's just stuff like that. I've grown up watching the game be played a certain way. And granted, there was guys in our time that can score. Like we got to see Tracy McGrady score 13 points in like, I don't know, what was it, like 10 seconds or some crazy shit?
13 seconds.
Like 13
No, 13
seconds.
points in... Wait, 13 points in 30
seconds.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Against the Spurs to come back. Like, that is special.
Exactly.
To be able to do that.
Still one of the best moments in basketball.
100%. You've seen that game where it was like, there's no way to win this game. I'm sure 1 million people changed the channel, or whatever. And that something like that happens. That's different than people not being allowed to play defense. Like, I don't know what I can do. They're calling these charging fouls or blocking fouls. And it's like, yes, if he runs into me and I contort my body because he's running into me, that should not be a blocking foul. He ran into me. You want me to fall?
Or just let him go? Like, what do you want me to do?
I got to fall straight back in order for it to be a blocking foul. But if he Euro steps and runs into my left shoulder, and now I'm turning because all his momentum and everything went into that one side of my body. Now that's a blocking foul. I don't get it, but, that's just to wrap that up. I just think the league needs to allow defenders to play defense. It's coming across all sports. If you watch football, defensive players aren't allowed to, tackle the same way. Defenders nowadays, like, I think they need to allow hand checking. You want to see better, more competitive NBA games, allow the hand check and see
Yes.
how it changes from these high 30s and 40 games to where all these games are coming more and more down to the wire, even for the crappy teams, because then they have something that they can do that will allow them to be competitive.
Yes.
You're when I'm just saying, you
I
don't like LaMelo's and those things. Those guys don't really have the talent to compete with these better teams. But if you give them some players that are trying to get a contract, that are willing to be the grimy, the Ron Artest, those guys, that will make the game more interesting. But I apologize, Meech. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I was gonna hit on your point I agree with you. Allow hand checks and allow allow more defense, like more of a leash on defense, because in the 2000 teens or late 2000s, um, there was a separation of the Tracy McGrady's, the Kobe Bryant's, Paul Pierce's, Dwayne Wade's, Dirk's. There was those players. Now, if you Sadiq Bey can have a 50-point game, which he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Like
Yeah.
fucking Keegan Murray for the Sacramento Kings. I think he had a 50-point game.
Yep.
Like anybody can have
Mm-hmm.
it's not as special anymore because
Nope.
you just if you know the rules like a Devin Booker,
Mm-hmm.
he knows how to get to the line. He knows how to he knows how to
Yeah.
get the
Mm-hmm.
foul.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Young is my dog, but he plays within the rules of I need to get to the foul.
Mm-hmm.
Maxi, Embiid, Luca, that's just the name of the game now. Like,
Absolutely.
anybody could score. Somebody's going to score. Unfortunately, somebody's going to score 85, 90 in the next year or two
Mm-hmm.
just by playing within the rules. That's it.
Yep. Probably be
Exactly.
Luca, honestly.
Somebody,
Probably.
yeah. And it's just like at the same time, man, we just want to see good basketball. If you just want to see a pickup game of
Exactly.
just niggas shooting the ball and scoring like that for real NBA fans, and I get it. Maybe you don't care about us because we're the people that have grown up watching this game the whole time. Now it's just a money grab, and if that's the case, just
Mm-hmm.
let us know.
100%. Yeah.
If that's the
Mm-hmm.
case, and I get it, y'all want to get paid. Y'all are still gonna get paid. Y'all are the NBA. But
Right.
I'm telling you, it's kind of like the playoffs. And I get it. The playoffs, like you said, when it comes to Maxi Meach, a lot of those calls aren't going to be called. And those teams are going to be pissed off when you get to the playoffs because your
Mm-hmm.
team doesn't know how to play that kind of physical basketball.
Right. Yep.
Keep
Which I
that year
get.
round.
I understand their gripes of whenever the refs decide, oh, today we're going to call this whistle, tomorrow we're not. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't want them to call that whistle, but I understand the player who's confused. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this
Right.
is a foul Monday through Thursday. Why is not a foul on Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But like you said, a lot of players they don't know how to adapt. I.e., I'm picking on Embiid, but he ain't got out the first round or second round.
Second
I
round.
don't know.
Second, you know,
You know, it
Yeah, but
happens,
with
man.
Maxi though, he be going in the paint like that, trying to get the fouls, but he still gets the ball in the hole, bro.
That's
yes,
a
Pause.
fact.
yeah,
That's a fact.
that's a
You still can
skill.
hoop.
Right.
That's the skill
Because
of
I think
trying to get the foul
that's still
and
his
scoring.
goal. Like he's still trying to go to the line to get that and one, but his first goal is to score that layup, score that bucket,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. He's just not going up there just to I got hit. Like he going up there still trying to finish and get the point, get the 2 point.
And back in the day, just to close it out, I really think like when people used to say you couldn't score 10 points in the league, I think that was true back in the day.
Yes,
But I
facts.
think
Right.
now
Right.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
can go get 10. I can hit a wide open three.
Mhm.
I can run in there and if I say a or damn long enough, I'm gonna get a foul call and I'm gonna get
Yes,
to that free throw line and I'm
facts,
Right.
gonna get to 10. Like I
facts.
don't know. I
Right.
just think people don't really pay attention to how easy it is for a lot of players we don't know to get 20. You know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But that is what it is, man. I want to keep moving on. My question to y'all is really with some of these who, and I was just thinking about this today because it pissed me off, and it does piss me off. And I'll go first. Who is a star in the NBA that pisses you off? And I'll give you my reason for mine. Mine is going to be Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy
Interesting.
Butler pisses me off for one simple fact is he does not play regular season the way he does playoffs. I'm looking,
Yeah.
if you know me, I do prize picks, you know, and my thing is there's no reason Jimmy Butler's over and under in points should be 20. This is a star player who's making 100 plus million, over his contract. Then you got guys like Kevin Durant, da 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 da, and it's like, yes, you have Tyler Hero, yes, you have Terry Rozier, yes, you have Bam Adebayo. All those guys can get you 20, but you're supposed to be Jimmy Butler. You're the same guy that went in there and whooped the shit out of the Timberwolves starting group with the backups,
Right.
But then you go in the regular season, and y'all look real mid right now.
Yeah.
Granted,
Tyler
y'all
Hero
are
shouldn't be averaging the same as Jimmy Butler right now.
right,
Facts.
and
They're
that's
both
that's
averaging 21.
yeah, like that's my thing. And don't get me wrong, we all know Tyler Hero's a better 3-point shooter. We know threes is more than twos, but you are Jimmy Butler. You are a star in this league. We have the LeBrons, we have the KDs, we have all these guys are getting paid major money, and you out there looking like Tobias Harris in the regular season. Like I expect more from you.
I
That shit
mean,
really pisses me off.
do you think that's part of a
Honestly.
strategy though? Because like
It
they're number 8 right now.
mm-hmm.
So,
Jeez.
but that means if they pick it up and they may say they get, I don't know, fifth, right? Is that a strategy to try to go against, like a third seed or a 2 seed? So then they have an easier time getting to the the second round.
I would say yes, but in my thinking, right, it's like, would you not want to be a top seed so you can play 8?
Mm-hmm.
Would you not want to be a 2 so you can play a 7? Why would you want to play,
Or they
you
work
know?
hard like they did, or they work hard enough to maybe they clinch the 6th seed, and then they go against Boston or whoever's number 1, and then then we get playoff Jimmy, and then he
Mm-hmm.
kicks out then they kick out the number 1 seed, and then it's the 2021 no 2020 finals again. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
it's
Because weren't they
it's
last? Weren't they 8th?
they were
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and they went to
Yeah.
the finals. Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, but my thing is, I mean, I know, and like the LeBrons and stuff like that, like LeBron and them at the peak of wherever he was at the time, we're gonna sweep these niggas. Have about 4 5 days off of resting, but you want to go play a Celtics team that can go to a game 7, and then you have like 2 or 3 days before you go into round 2.
Yeah.
Jimmy may be built for that because he was part
Right.
of the Derrick Rose years. He was a part of a lot of these teams. He's built like that. I'm not sure Tyler Hero is built like that because whenever they was hooping and doing all that, Tyler Hero was coming off the bench.
Yeah,
Terry
that's true.
Rozier ain't really been in the spotlight like this since he was in Boston
Mm-hmm.
with the young Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They got a lot of younger guys now that are coming a part of this team, like Jaime Jaquez, different things like that. He just got rid of Kyle Lowry, who's a veteran who knows about the playoffs, stuff like that. I just don't know. I just want more out of guys that are making 100 million. That's all I'm asking. But let me know
All right.
who's a star in the league. I'm not saying superstar. I'm not saying a mega star. Shout out to
Right.
Gilbert. I know y'all niggas had that argument. Who's a mega star and a superstar? I'm just talking about a star, $100+ million player that gets on your nerves and why. I'm gonna go with you, Meech. Talk to me.
Uh, so Steph Curry, not because of Steph Curry himself, but I think the slack that media and fans give Steph for you see these Hall of Famers put Steph as the they try to put him over LeBron sometimes, like on the Mount Rushmores and shit like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you was just watching the Lakers play the Warriors last week, he gets subbed out for defensive possessions. It was for Corey Joseph last week. Corey fucking Joseph. No disrespect to Corey Joseph, but this ain't Corey Joseph is not a prime Kawhi defender. It's Corey Joseph. He's shorter than Steph. You know what I mean? They're about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he gets too much slack. I mean, he's just playing his game, just doing. Coach subs him out for defense, sub him back in for offense. Hey, he's doing his thing. But if this was LeBron, uh, it will be, all over socials. LeBron can't play. He's afraid of the
Right.
moment.
Yup.
Shit like that. I just think that it's unfair.
Because he light skinned,
Like
bro.
if you're going to be called, if you're going to be in the discussion of the GOAT, you got to take the heat with the praise. And I don't think he gets the heat. I think he gets the praise when he's scoring,
Mm-hmm.
and running around and dancing after he hits, 7 threes in a row or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
when he's can't play defensive possession because he can't play defense, nobody's
Mm-hmm.
questioning it. Nobody's saying like, why wasn't Steph Curry in the game at the time? But LeBron is supposed to be the lockdown defender and score the shot and make the right pass every single time. So
Mm.
I just don't like that. Like I said, Steph Curry is my pick, not because of Steph Curry himself, but because of the slack that the fans and media give him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Josh, talk to me.
I mean, I'm on the kind of the same train of the Golden State Warriors. I hate Draymond Green. Uh, he thinks he's this, you know, God's gift to basketball. He
He
really
did say
tries
he was the
to.
greatest defender of all time last year. Didn't he say that?
Yeah, he did say that. He did say that, and he's nowhere near. Like I haven't seen him win Defensive Player of the Year ever. I don't know about
He's
y'all.
he won it. Does he have it twice? He's won it one or
Maybe
two
I
times.
don't. I
once.
don't remember, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I can't fathom like how he
Yeah,
would even win Defensive Player of the Year when
yeah.
Rudy Gobert has been in the same league, and he's won it like like 3, 4 times, whatever the case may be. But this man is getting paid a fuck ton of money, and he's averaging 9 points a game, and you're a 4-time champion. That says to me that you are just riding the coattails of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and the coaching of Steve Kerr. Like you just are aggressive, you just yell on the court, you got a good basketball mind, right? And when it's crunch time, when it's the playoffs or the finals, like he really like tries to dig in deep and get the rebounds and get the assists and set the plays up and shit. But at the end of the day, like your team is 21-25. Like no
Mm-hmm.
one's hurt. Y'all just trash. And he's not stepping up. Like if he starts, like no, Kaminga's starting right now. But the fact that you're even on the bench right now, like that's
I think
hilarious.
they just changed it. I think he just started 2 nights ago. Uh,
Who, Kaminga
Steve
or
Kerr,
Green?
Green. I think they're starting him at the 5, and I think they're bringing Looney off the bench now and Kamiga at the 4.
Well, then
Also,
I
Draymond won
better
it.
see 12 rebounds a game because right now he's averaging 6. Like this shit's
Draymond won
ridiculous.
Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. That was it.
That was too
Okay,
long ago to even be relevant. So like for me, but still like
yeah,
he's so
7 years.
like I wouldn't mind him clotheslining niggas if he was getting 15 to 20 points a game. Like he's actually contributing to the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, but right now he's just making the Warriors look bad, and Steph doesn't deserve this in his legacy. Because I was telling DJ this like a few days ago. Like, if the Warriors don't like do something the next year or two, he's retiring. Like he's not gonna get traded. He's not gonna go to another team. Like he's just gonna call it quits. Like the man's what, 36? Steph Curry's 36 at this point. Like he's a
30.
few years younger than Bron.
Yeah, about
Like
4 years or so.
right. So he's gonna check. He's gonna check like soon. And or they have to get rid of Draymond and bring in a good 4 or 5 for them to play off. But I was also, and when you're asking me that question, DJ, I was thinking like, am I actually mad at Steve Kerr? Am I actually mad that Steve Kerr isn't like I don't know, like what does he have to do? Like he has to do something to get these guys some score the
He
basket,
don't he
right?
don't run this team. He's not a good coach.
Right, because like
I've been
Klay
saying it.
Thompson should not have 17 points a game. Like, what are you doing at practice? What are you telling these guys to work on? Like, are you watching the tapes? You're seeing like what shots are they missing? What shots they got to work on at practice? Because Klay Thompson should be 25 points a game, and the only person averaging more than 20 right now is Curry, and this man's 30, 35, 36 years old. And that's a damn shame.
Hey,
I feel it. I feel
Draymond
it.
is a funny dude, man. Remember when he said on his podcast that he told Adam Silver that this is too much for me. I'm just going to
Oh yeah,
retire.
he was gonna retire. Man, I wish he would, bro.
Hold on. And I heard that. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't knock niggas out, so you want to retire? I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga's crazy. Like, this dude is insane. What's too much for? Like, you would rather retire
That's
than choke
crazy.
niggas and knock niggas out. Like, that's insane to me. I just thought that was hilarious.
That's
But
Nah,
as
it
hell.
is. And
Yeah,
then for
you
him
get
to
on his
say
podcast
that,
talking about everybody else, but you be talking about his game, bro. Like stop, like cancel the podcast for a little while. Focus on your goddamn game, because I think he just at this point to me he's just trying to chase a check. Like
podcasts have ruined the. I think podcasts are. I like the new media with the players, like with Paul George and and Draymond. Cool. I seen Grady Dick for the Raptors
Toronto
have a
Raptors.
podcast.
Yep.
That's crazy. I don't know
Michael
who that
Porter
is.
Jr. has a podcast.
Yep.
Pat
Curious
Bev,
Mike.
Pat Bev has a podcast. Uh, everyone literally has a podcast. It's cool because they can they have their own platform and
Right.
they can kind of control their own media narrative, which I appreciate because we know the media has been nasty over the last several
Fact.
years and putting
Right.
out false information or lies, and
Mm-hmm.
now the player can go straight to their podcast and be like, "This is what happened. I don't do
Right.
blah blah blah."
Right.
So, but they're doing it right after games. I mean,
Yeah, that's like, what are you doing, bro?
you
Like,
know,
go home, watch the tape, bro. Watch your game. Like,
right.
ice, rest, whatever you got to do, and watch the fucking tape because y'all lost a crazy game.
And-
Like, how
and-
you lose to Memphis?
look,
Memphis, they went.
players
And then-
will players will say that what I'm supposed to do, play basketball. I get it. They're looking at it today as this is their job, right? I do my job. I'm not in the gym 24 hours a day. But you know who made this their life? Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, niggas like that. That was their life. Them niggas wouldn't be caught dead on the podcast right after
No
their
way.
game. You imagine Kobe Bryant podcasting right after they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. Or Kevin Garnett
shame.
podcasting right after they lost,
The
in the
NBA
finals.
and the media would have been on his ass.
It's like, what the fuck are we doing? But
Yeah.
Kobe
Kobe would have been saying something about that if he's still around, bro.
Oh,
He'd
absolutely.
He'd be reaming them.
Absolutely, he used to call people out. And before you go on, DJ, a lot of people, have these Kobe stories and niggas didn't like Kobe. I'm a Kobe fan. I grew up a Kobe fan. People didn't like him. Players respected him and they feared him because of his mindset, but they didn't like him because he wasn't trying to be their friend. He gonna kill you on the court. If you his teammate, he'll build a relationship with you. Or in his later years, the younger players, they were coming to him for kind of some mentorship.
Right.
But people didn't like Kobe's because he was so locked in on winning. Like that was most important.
Mamba mentality.
And I think that's everyone's trying to have this Mamba mentality, but they don't really realize what it truly was.
Facts.
Yes.
Because you don't hear about any of the teammates saying like, yeah, I saw Draymond, 4:00 in the morning, like.
Exactly.
I'll get into the gym, like
exactly.
Eating breakfast, he all full of sweat and shit. But that type of thing. No one's doing that.
Exactly. Go ahead, DJ.
So I'm gonna go through a few questions with y'all. I know we're about at the 45-minute mark, but I just want to get your thoughts on this. Kevid Durant recently was saying that he doesn't see why his name isn't considered to be in the greatest of all time conversation. I have my own spiel about it, but I'm gonna let y'all cook first because I'm gonna fire this nigga up. I swear to God. So
let me go real quick.
Go,
because I touched on it a few podcasts ago. KD probably one of the coldest hoopers ever.
Ever.
Hooper.
Right.
KD wants to hoop. He doesn't want to compete. That's just the reality of it. You ever been, and we've all played pickup, and you got to, you're five, you stacked. Like, oh, bet, hell yeah, let's get this win. All right, that's how KD wants to win. He wants to hoop, but he doesn't want to be like, fuck, like I can't, can't scratch a win. He wants to hoop, doesn't want to compete. That's it. I mean, that's why he's not in the GOAT conversation. He ain't never led a team like D
Facts.
Wade did the Heat, Kobe did the Lakers, fucking Dirk with the Mavs. He's never been that guy. Now, I know he got into it with Charles Barkley last year because he said he was never the bus driver. He was right.
Right.
It's not a diss, but I mean, facts are facts. Like, if you want to be if you want to like beat those allegations, go to the fucking who's a bottom feeder right now?
Shit. Charlotte, Detroit.
Yeah, go to Detroit
Yeah.
next year and start
Fact.
and get them niggas to being a competitive
Take him to the
three.
finals.
Yeah, to get them to the third round or second round, even. And if you get them to a finals appearance, you will be cemented like, oh, KD's that guy. He can
Right.
Right.
lead. But right now, he's not a leader. Even when he was on the Warriors, Draymond was the leader. But he's the coldest hooper ever. That's
You
it.
one of those? Josh, go ahead. Talk to me.
He's Durantula, like Meat say,
Yeah.
he's a hooper. Like you want him on your squad. You're not gonna say no to KD. Like the fuck. But like, how many teams have you been on? You got drafted to the Seattle Sonics, now the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then you went to, and then you lost the lead 3-1. Could have won the finals. And then you go to Golden State. They already won how many championships before he got there? 2, 3.
They won
One, right? Because
one.
Curry has 4, so
It's
they won one.
Right.
2
They won
KD.
one. Right. So great.
Yes.
I'm gonna go. Now I'm gonna take my talents over to the Splash Brothers and Draymond Green. Right. He helped them. He definitely helped them win. Got 2 Finals MVPs. That's great. But you still are kind of being overshadowed by Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. But it's great that you were on that team. That was wild ride. And then you go to the Nets because you try to play with your brother Kyrie and James Harden. That was horrible. That was one of the worst Big 3 seasons I've ever seen. They should have dominated the East, and definitely didn't. And then you go over to Phoenix, and then nothing really happens in Phoenix. Like they go to the Eastern or the Western Conference Finals, right?
Did they play in the Western Conference Finals? They lost to the Nuggets.
They lost to the Nuggets, right? So, and then it's just like, bro, I'm seeing the wins with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and everyone knows that's kind of that's a crutch right there. Like you got options, bro, and you're Durant, you're 7 foot, like you're gonna make buckets. But like DJ said, if you go to a trash team like Detroit or Washington, Memphis, well, not Memphis really. I mean, they got hurt players, but if you go there and you dominate that conference or your division, then yeah, let's talk about you being on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. But he's nowhere near in my mind, bro. Like, he's a great basketball player, but he's got to show some work.
All right, let me talk to this soft ass nigga, yo.
Hey, easy.
Bro, my thing is Cupcake. Shout out to Cupcake. Shout out to Kendrick Perkins for the nickname, bro. Let me just keep it a Billy Goat with y'all. You left the Thunder. Am I a salty OKC fan? Maybe, maybe not. But let me put this into perspective for people out there. You went to the finals with Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, Great team at the time. Serge leading the league in blocks, or was the block leader. You got James Harden, 6th man of the year. And the real engine that ran that team that could have masked all that bullshit or could have masked the rest of your career was Russell Westbrook being the leader. You would have been known as the leader because Russ never really, he could hoop. We all knew he could hoop, kind of. But you were Kevin Durant. You were still scoring the 40 while Russ might have 20 or 30. Serge may have 15 something.
He was
James Harden might
MVP.
have. Right. You know what I'm saying? You left that for whatever reason. Russell Westbrook pissed you off. Boo-hoo. Whatever.
Right.
And I'll give it to you. Sam Presti fucked up by keeping Serge and not James. You know, that really hurt y'all. But then you go to the team that beat y'all in the Western Conference Finals and go join them. Like Josh said, you go to the Nets, then you go on to Phoenix. I think, for one, Kevin Durant is a bad talent evaluator. And I'll say it because James Harden, after, coming off of being hefty in Houston and then trying to go to Brooklyn and think that that's just going to work all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Terrible. You know what I'm saying? You try to go with Kyrie. Nobody knows that situation. Yeah, Kyrie did the whole COVID thing. Cool, whatever. Then you go to Phoenix, right? Outside of Devin Booker, what did you think? You thought DeAndre Ayton was like that? You thought DeAndre Ayton was good enough to be the third in your big three. And now you think it's going to work with a much older Bradley Beal on the downside of his career, suffering more injuries than he probably ever has in his career in this 1 year alone. That man does not play consistently enough to get y'all anywhere. And so you're thinking that Nurkic is going to get y'all to the promised land and help y'all. And an aging Bradley Beal, Josh Okogie, and fucking all these randoms is just going to get you to the no. My thing is, Jokic, it has a better case than Kevin Durant does. And granted, yes, he has
Absolutely.
two MVPs.
No,
he has
facts.
two MVPs.
Back to
Whatever,
back.
right? You know what I'm saying? Back to back. Joel Embiid, in my opinion, even though he doesn't have a championship,
If he wins one,
if he wins
yes.
one, damn sure. Even though Kevin Durant has two finals
Yes.
MVPs and 2 championships, Joel Embiid will jump him. Giannis
Yes.
has a
He's a
way
Giannis.
Yeah,
I have Giannis above
is
him right
way
now.
up there.
better. Right.
Giannis
And
has 2 MVPs and 2
two
defensive
MVP.
players.
Yes,
Yep,
and a
a
championship.
And
And
shit.
people think because, oh no, Kevin Durant will smoke Giannis led them the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right. Haven't seen a championship since
Milwaukee.
73.
Thank you.
50 years,
Well,
bro.
send him.
It's been 50 years.
To
Like,
a
come on.
NBA championship, a
Crazy.
50-piece McNugget, fed it to Phoenix and went home.
Yep.
This is a guy that doesn't have a fucking deep
He got a
bag
three
when it
ball.
don't have a 3 ball. All he has is hustle and defense, and he can
the
run the
Euro.
floor and the Euro step. You know what I'm saying? These are people. Even though people might say all 3 of us are crazy for even saying this right now, have a better case at being in the greatest of all time, and that sounds crazy
Yes.
because we would never put Giannis in the greatest of all time
Nah.
when it comes to Kobe's, the Shaqs, the MJs, the Wilts, Kareems. Like, he's might be 10. Giannis might be lower than 10. He might be 15-ish.
KD
You
has
know?
2, right?
To what?
To what?
2 chips.
2 chips with Golden
Yes.
State.
If Giannis wins another chip, Giannis jumps KD by a mile with the 2 defensive players, the back-to-back MVPs. KD has 1 MVP, more MVPs, more defensive players, and just as many chips without 2 top 75 all-time players.
And Giannis has a Finals MVP too.
Yeah. So
Oh,
he has
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, who? Yeah, and the Finals MVP. If he gets 2 Finals MVPs, 2 chips, 2 defensive players, 2 MVPs,
With the same
with the same
team. Crazy.
Oh yeah, no disrespect to KD. I vote KD, but
Yes,
feel you.
go ahead. But go ahead, DJ.
No, but that's my only thing. It's just like we value. I think people don't understand who is a greatest of all time hooper versus the greatest of all time player, because being able to put the ball in the basket, it's a major component. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I think who is driving the bus, driving the boat,
Right.
it matters, like,
Mm-hmm.
and granted, Shaq and Kobe, when that whole thing was going on, that was kind of hard because they was like 1A, 1A2,
Facts.
so
Right.
it's kind of like who's
Right.
really driving this boat,
Right.
situations like that. But Nikola Jokic, 2-time MVP, he has one in Denver, Colorado.
Right. And they
Never.
they never had a championship.
Never.
Facts.
And then you go to Golden State, it's California, bro. It's not hard to get people to go to California unless you're
Right.
Sacramento or the Oakland Raiders.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Then you go
Yeah.
to Brooklyn. You're in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And, I get it, the Knicks are the Knicks, but Brooklyn went and did the whole rebrand and all that
Yeah.
other shit.
Yeah.
Brooklyn was a more attractive destination
Right.
than the Knicks, ownership reasons.
Right. And then you're in Phoenix, and Phoenix ain't bad. If you looked at Arizona, Arizona's not a bad place to be. Good weather, all that good stuff. You had Oklahoma City at the finals.
Phoenix had
bro.
been to that finals.
And-
Was it a year before KD got there, or
It was
I think
two
so.
two
it
seasons?
was when they lost to Giannis.
Oh yeah, so 2020.
That was 2021.
Uh,
Yeah, it was 2021.
Nuggets.
Because the year
Nuggets
after
won
that,
in.
the
Golden State won
Warriors
after
won.
that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was Golden State, then Denver. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But it's just like you keep trying to jump on these bandwagons and they're not working out for you, big dog.
Right. And that's my thing too. He's jumping like I really, it's hard for me to respect players that jump from team to team. Like and like is it the team or is it you? Like at the end of the day, like I'm following the constant variable here. Like that's why I respect Giannis. That's why he's staying with the Bucks. Like he had opportunities to leave, right? And like Joker, I mean Joker's like, he got drafted a few years ago. He's not going to really leave. But like if Luka, for instance, keeps staying with the Dallas Mavericks, I personally think he should leave. But if he keeps staying with them and they get to the finals and they win, that's big respect right there. You know what I'm saying? Like Cat. Didn't he get drafted by the Timberwolves? So if he does something crazy this year with the Wolves, that's put some more respect on his name.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the
Go ahead,
people
Mitch.
going to try to throw LeBron under the bus. Well, LeBron, the difference between LeBron is everywhere he's gone, he's delivered on bringing a championship.
Right.
Cleveland,
Right.
Miami, Lakers, he's won. You know what I mean? He didn't come with the expectations of winning, and then it didn't work out. All right, I want to be traded, elsewhere.
Yep.
KD is, like I said, KD is he's a hooper, great hooper. One of the coldest hoopers of all time. That's never going to change. But he's
He's
those
like,
two
I
champions.
didn't win, I'm gone. He's not like, we didn't win. What do we need to do? How do we change our game plan?
Build
like,
your
I'm outta
own thing. Like let niggas come to you. Like let niggas.
Yes.
Like it'll be different than people saying, "I want to go play where you at, KD." He like, all right, I'm in DC. We're gonna build this thing, and you build it organically. Like you said, DJ, those championships with Golden State are overshadowed by the fact that there was Steph Curry and Klay Thompson on the team.
That's it. I mean, it's just like when you really look at it, bro. And I don't know, and I give Steph his credit, right? I don't know what it would have been like if Kevin Durant wouldn't have gone there. He would have 2 championships guaranteed. He won those, no KD. Kevin Durant don't have a championship connected to anybody not in the top 10 of all time.
Facts.
Right.
And he needs to get that. He needs to scratch that. Get that chip off his shoulder because Kobe said it. He had to win without Shaq. When he won in 2009, they were like, or when he won in 2010, actually, they was like, what were you thinking? He was like, got one more than Shaq. Like he had to get that, get that chip off his shoulder. That the saying, the talk was, He can't win without Shaq. Get to the finals 08, he lost. And now the media like, oh, see, we told you can't win without Shaq. Get there in 09, win again. Okay, now he's tied with Shaq. Now Kobe's on a mission. Fuck it, I'm about to, I got to get another one. Absolutely.
Yep.
But KD, I understand KD needing the championships as far as GOAT conversations because he knew 50 years from now, we're going to look at the history books and we're going to say, we're going to look at the numbers, chips, accolades, and his name is not going to be his name is going to be with the Masters with Charles Barkley and Allen Iverson, David, Patrick Ewing, and shit like that. If he didn't have those chips,
For
but
sure.
the only thing that he went wrong with was in the manner that he got his chips. Now they have an asterisk on him anyway.
Yep. And that's all I'm saying, man. Is you have no championship without Steph. I will respect it when you go get one. And I get it, you're trying to do it with Kyrie, but Kyrie's got one. I get it, you're trying to help Book, but Book
If he get one with Book, hey,
right,
fuck it, cool. If you
right,
get Book, because they haven't won.
no. But if you nigga, if you go to Boston and try to win with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I'm gonna be pissed
That
off.
would be
Right.
crazy.
Like that's some shit. That's a
Crazy.
big three. That's gonna piss me off. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But that's it on
That'll
that.
make
man.
me pissed because we ain't leaving the fight.
Nah,
we ain't leaving
facts.
the playoffs because that shit's gonna happen.
Right.
Oh,
So
shit.
the last one, and I just want to, before we get out of here, quick question. I don't really remember the context in which it was mentioned, but Rudy Gobert mentioned something hurting his Hall of Fame career.
I know what you're
How
talking about.
you know? Okay, so I wasn't the only one that heard it. I'm not crazy.
All-Star.
Yes, All-Star snubs. That's exactly what it is. I don't know about y'all. Granted, he did get 2 Defensive Player of the Years, or 3. Was it 3? Okay, he's got 3. I don't know what it is, but I sincerely want to say, fuck out of here with all that Hall of Fame talk, Rudy. You're not a Hall of Famer. And maybe that's my issue because I'm kind of like, if you heard Deion Sanders talking about it's so easy to get into a Hall of Fame, their gold jacket ain't like my gold jacket, or I need a platinum one or something like that, Deion said, because we're not in the same caliber of player. How do y'all feel about Rudy Gobert mentioning his All-Star snubs when it comes to his quote-unquote Hall of Fame career? Meech, go ahead, because I see you got something.
Yeah. J.R. Smith actually said this a couple years ago. I think he said it's easier to get in the Hall than it is to win a chip. They induct 10 niggas in the Hall every year. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to keep going on. You don't win a chip, you don't win a chip. So, and it's easy not to win one. But Rudy Gobert, I get it. He's been saying based on accolades, and he needs those all-star appearances to go onto that resume to have a case for being a Hall of Famer. And honestly, at the end of his career, he's still pretty young, still got a lot of life in his career. He might win some more defensive players. He might win a championship, might get some all-stars. He probably will have a case. He wouldn't, I don't think he'll be first ballot, but I get what you're saying. I think I think he's focused on the wrong shit, nigga. Focus on winning a chip or getting to the finals. Why are you worried about the Hall? You plan on retiring in a couple years?
Right.
Like what? Like what All Star? Who gives a fuck about an All Star appearance? Like it's a fictional, you know. I honestly don't even give credit to it. Like, All Star. It's a popularity contest. You're not that popular,
Exactly.
nigga. Like that's what it is.
Right.
Exactly.
Niggas literally don't like you. They think you started COVID. Now, I don't
Yeah.
think he started COVID.
That's funny as fuck.
I don't think he started
Said
COVID.
niggas think he
But
started COVID.
people in OKC, DJ, you live there. Niggas do
Yeah.
not like Rudy Gobert
Not
because
at all.
you remember when he was like playing around. The league shut down in
Yes.
OKC. Started with OKC and Rudy Gobert. That's why him and D Mitchell fell out. But yeah, I think he's worried about the wrong shit.
Okay, Josh, talk to me. What you think?
I mean, it's kind of like what me said. Like, he has a good track record with his defense and everything, but like he hasn't been to a NBA Finals. He hasn't been to a conference finals. He he made it to the second round of the playoffs, and that's pretty much it. Um, and he really didn't do. He's not doing much on the Minnesota Timberwolves because he's being kind of overshadowed by Cat
Yep.
and Anthony Edwards. So
Mhm.
he's kind of like riding the coattails. I mean, he's still a good basketball player. Like I got Rudy Gobert on my fantasy team because I know he's gonna give me double doubles. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I can't see him being a Hall of Famer unless he's like 60 years old.
Yeah.
And niggas are like, y'all remember Rudy Gobert? I mean, he got 3 defensive. Let's give him one. Let's give him one
Exactly.
because he won't
Like I
stop
said.
writing us. He won't stop tweeting at us.
Like I said, not
Uh,
first ballot.
right, exactly. Like when he retires, if it's consistent what his numbers are right now, it's not going to be like, oh man, that was a great ride, Rudy. See you next year at the Hall of Fame. It looks like no, it's going to be a while because like we gonna see Shy or like Kyrie or like all these other people who are going to get into the Hall of Fame way before you, bro. Like you got to do something. You got to show these niggas why you should be in the talks of a Hall of Fame. Like get a ring,
He needs his
get
own
them
team,
get right.
or he needs to win multiple chips.
Or it needs to
That's
be
the
a
only.
number
Get
two. You
more
gotta
defensive players of the year. Like
Yeah.
step that up. I know it's hard because you got another 7'10", 7-footer nigga on your team, so y'all could be sharing the blocks or the rebounds, or whatever. But he's 3-time All Star. He's 6-time All Defensive, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All NBA. A lot of people have most of those accolades.
Mhm.
So nothing else is really sticking out other than those
Facts.
3 defensive players, and and that's it.
I
That's
think
all you can
I
say.
think that's a situation where, and I think he realized it. That's why he went to Minnesota. Is he can't be a number two. Like when your number one is out, he's not good enough to lead your team
No,
into the playoffs.
No.
If your number one goes out, or in the regular season, if Donovan Mitchell were to have been hurt in that Utah Jazz regular season, he's not going to single handedly get you to be a playoff team to give you enough time for Donovan Mitchell to get back.
right.
So I think that hurts your case, but I know they're not going to take that into consideration when they do that Hall of Fame stuff.
Right.
But hey, he knew his role. He tried to acquiesce to it to the best he could.
But here's the thing too. Also, he's never averaged more than 15 points a game in his whole career. He's averaged the most. Well, the most he's averaged is almost 16, and that was in 2018. So like, even with that, it's just like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah,
I
he's
can't, I can't,
he's.
I can't bet $2 on you getting a 20-point game.
There's never been a 7-footer who's gotten to the Hall without one having their own team, like KG Minnesota.
Yep.
He led them did as much as he can, then go to Boston, win a chip. Pau Gasol, Memphis. He was the
Kareem.
go-to player. Like you said, Kareem, all these, Dirk led the Mavs.
Dirt.
Won
Facts.
a chip. Rudy Gobert, you don't have the skill set. Like I think Ben Wallace is in the Hall now. I think
Yep. He is.
he has those chips, and he got that chip, and he got those multiple defensive players. But it took a while, like Josh was
Right.
alluding to. Ben Wallace probably retired in probably 2010, 09 or something like that.
Right.
Been almost 15, 16 years since he's played an NBA game. It ain't gonna be like the D Wade retire and then next year you in the Hall,
Right.
shit like that. So, yeah, I agree. He got to get better at his own craft and lead a team and get a championship before you can be considered to get into the Hall. Derek Fisher ain't in the Hall. Then they got 5 rings.
Man, talk about it.
Facts.
Talk about it.
You know what I mean? So, well, let's.
That's funny as hell.
But let's go on.
Yeah, man. But other than that, we're coming up on an hour and 10, man. I appreciate, Josh Meach, as always,
Yes, sir.
dropping some
You too,
knowledge. We're going to be ramping up as all the rest of the teams are, of course, because now it's getting closer and closer towards All-Star Weekend, which means playoffs are getting closer and closer. So a lot of these games are going to get a lot better. It's going to be a lot less. I think it's going to get, you're going to get more into those playoff-esque ref games, you know, in atmospheres where, you know, people are going to be crying a little bit more. The games are going to be a lot closer. It's not going to be 50-point blowouts and the starters are out by halftime. It's going to be grit and grind basketball, the shit that guys around our age are used to and we know. So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for joining us on another episode, and we out.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.